All right, then, everybody in podcast land out there, welcome to another Tank Nation podcast. So, this is where we bring the outside in. And our brother Sean.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So I come from a very abusive childhood, and most addicts, and most people that I met in prison had the same background, whether it be emotional abuse, physical abuse, whatever it was. But on top of having a very abusive childhood, my family was very religious. So the Sunday Christians, but went home and deeply involved in pornography and drinking. And so I saw a very hypocritical uh, religion. And I grew up, which you heard in my testimony at Traum, I grew up with love being very conditional. It was something to be earned and something to be used as a weapon against you if you did wrong. And so I related to God that way. And I went through my early 20s. I got stuck in pill addiction. And that just led to a whole mess in my life, which eventually led to a meth addiction. My first prison sentence, uh, a failed marriage. Um, when I was 32 years old, I went to a place called Adult and Teen Challenge in San Antonio, and I met Jesus there. Um, I'm gonna be honest, I hate talking about my past before Jesus because I'm still not completely healed. I'm learning the healing process it's a process. I think we pray
Mhm.
and no, go inside. Go inside. I'm on an interview. I'm sorry.
You're
I'm
okay.
sorry for those that have kids, y'all know. Um, so I hate talking about my past
Well,
because I'm not completely healed.
let's skip that because the thing that we're here for
It's the
is
love story is Jesus for me.
okay. Come on.
So, and I love speaking about this. I met Jesus when I was 32, 33 years old. Um, and I'm still, even today, the seeds that were planted in me through this program, Adult and Teen Challenge, um, those seeds are still growing and sprouting. But I relapsed even after meeting Jesus. And again, I found so many people in prison also the same. They find Jesus and they think that everything's going to be so great. Everything, life's going to be great and you're not going to face any problems. And that's just not true. So I relapsed. And the difference in this relapse for me was I had seeds. I'd met my father. I'd heard his voice. I knew who Jesus Christ was. And so Satan was not able to keep me in that shame, even in my relapse. I knew how to call out to my father, and I knew that he was faithful even when I'm not. And he saved me. Uh, I did go to prison again because of my relapse. But when I got out, I went to a ministry in Austin, Texas Reach Out Ministry, and I haven't looked back since. My relationship keeps growing.
That's awesome. Can you walk us through what that was like from you getting out and going to Texas Reach Out? Because there's some other people who may go to Texas Reach Out. There's men that I know are watching this that they're headed to Texas Reach Out. And so can you just give us what that experience is like to help someone prepare for that? And even if they don't go to Texas Reach Out, to just hopefully give them something to help them adapt. Because for me, a big deal for me, although I went to a home, the big deal for me was having relationships with my peers who I've been incarcerated with and others, to where even when I didn't know that I needed encouragement, they would just call and encourage me. And that was a big deal because when I look back and I was on a GPS monitor, it's like I didn't realize the pressure of I don't want to mess up. I don't want to mess up. I don't want to mess up.
Mhm.
But the day she told me you can cut that off. What? I said, no, I'll wait. I'll wait to see you. I'm gonna make sure it's no mistakes. But when it
Mhm.
came off, and so can you just help someone?
Sure. For me, this started in prison. I don't think that your mindset can start after you get there. If you're incarcerated, your mindset has to start in prison. Um, and like anywhere, you've got your good seeds and your bad seeds. Granted, you're probably not going to find as many people walking the way you want to walk in prison, but you can. God will put people around you. No matter where you go, whether it be Texas Reach Out or a non-Christian halfway house, you can make it. You can make it. You can succeed. But my mindset started in prison. I did not, they say birds of a feather flock together, right? I did not hang around with people in prison that weren't walking the walk, talking the talk. And if that meant I had to walk alone, and I spent most of my prison time alone, even in the faith-based dorm, I knew that there was a certain walk that Christ had for me, a certain way I was supposed to behave, I was supposed to speak. And I was seeking out people that were doing those things. And if I couldn't find them, I was okay with standing alone just with Jesus. So I think that mentality, you have to have that coming out of prison. Because let's be real, not everybody's going to be able to get into a Christian environment. And I'm going to be real on top of that. Not every Christian environment is 100%. We're humans. We are humans. And not everybody that goes into a home is really there for the right reasons. So you still have to go in with the same mindset, the same heart, the same discernment of, hey, if you're not doing right, you're not pulling me down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to walk the walk that I know I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think the strength comes in prison. You start there. You start learning that you are able to stand on your own. You're able to make good choices. You're able to walk with integrity and with character. And so for me, that's what I did. In reality, like I said, nothing's perfect. Texas Reach Out, when I got there, you have your ones that come in and relapse. It's part of it. And you're going to fall if you're not standing on Jesus, if you're not real about that relationship. It's serious, man. It's hard for us that are coming out. If you don't have a made up mind that, hey, I'm not playing with my addiction anymore, I'm not playing with this lifestyle anymore, and set your feet and stand firm, you will fall. I think the mindset's really important coming out.
Can I ask this question? When you say play with, because we may
Mm-hmm.
have to, can you give me an example of what playing with an addiction is like, or playing with a lifestyle? And this is solely from your perspective.
I'm gonna give you my perspective just for me, but I'm a bit cutthroat. I don't put up with much BS anymore because I know where it led me. So for me, the music I listen to, I know there was girls in the home, they'd get in their car driving to church and they're pumping secular, but not just like hardcore, like secular music. I know what that music can do for me, starting from the smallest thing. It can put me into a mind frame, lead me to crave something, take me back a memory, take me back to where I was at when I was playing the song. I'm not playing with my addiction, whether it be the music I listen to, the people I'm hanging around with. So I started out with a pain pill addiction. If I get hurt, guess what? And I've gotten sick since I got out. I'm not taking pain pills. I don't care if the doctor prescribes them. I'm not playing with this. The smallest little thing, Satan will try to get in. If I give him a crack, give him an inch, he's going to take a mile in my life. And I can't afford to give him anything else. I refuse to. So if I know when I relapsed the last time, I now can see where I let Satan in. And Satan just used the same tactics. So he's not smart. He just uses the same tactics over and over again in a different way, and we keep falling for it. So now I'm actively looking for where Satan may be setting up a trap for me. And I'm like, oh no, we're going a different way this time. I've already played that tape before. I'm not doing it again.
No, I get it, because when you said that, and you said Satan sets a trap and you look for it, because somebody might not understand that. And the way that looked for me when I heard that was, if I know my triggers, And I know the way I feel when I see certain things. For me, an example would be a lot of times, just like, when we go to different events, I like to talk, I like to have fun, I really like to listen, but I know the difference between holding a conversation and flirting. And
Come
so
on.
I
Yes.
feel, I'm saying me because I'm vigilant, like you're saying, meaning I'm not, oh my God, is somebody I don't do that. But I know my mannerisms. I know how I feel when it's not God. And so somebody, hey,
Yes.
and I'll be like, wow, okay. So let me just extract myself from that. And watching for it is being aware of it. We know
Yes.
ourselves. We know it's like I told some of the guys in the juvenile center. I said, man, sometimes if you're not careful, some of the happiest moments you ever have can lead to your death. And they were like,
Come on.
where'd you get
Come
that
on,
from?
Sean.
I said, listen, when I graduated high school and I didn't like to drink in high school and got sloppy drunk and we're doing crazy stuff, there's some people who almost lost their life in bonfires because we're so happy celebrating that we almost lost our life. I've gone into situations where it might be outreach for ministry, or I've been somewhere and it might be an apartment complex and something really good happens. We're able to help a mother, we're able to help a child, we're feeding, we're doing all that, but I'm not paying attention, and suddenly I'm just laughing and jolly, and I might bump somebody, or I might do something that puts me in a situation where it's like that had the potential to turn bad,
Yes.
and it's because I'm not paying attention. So when you say that, I'm encouraged that you are vigilant. How did you go from, and I want to be careful when I say this, how did you go from, hey, I'm a Christian and I'm going to do right, to I'm a Christian and I don't know everything, but I know what I need to do to be right? Because there's a
That's
difference.
a great question. That's a yes, yes.
Really, my example would be
There
I've had
definitely is.
so
That's
many
a
male
great
friends,
question.
like, look, I'm just witnessing to her. I said, I don't have a problem with you witnessing to her. There's no scripture against that, but I only ask you, if you're only witnessing the women, don't you think that that's sort of
Right.
dangerous? I never hear you say, I got to call this guy or that guy. Well, man, they don't understand. And I'm like, okay. Or for the women who are my friends, quite a few of them will say this. I don't hang around too many women. I don't talk to women. And I said, well, I'm not gonna speak on that, but I'm gonna say this. Do you think a man can understand you better than a woman? And if you're looking for ministry, the only thing that I'm saying, I'm thinking that your relationships are gonna expand with some women. But go ahead, you had something to say? You okay?
It's a great question. It's kind of got multiple answers. So I'm the type, truthfully, I'm a firecracker. I love to push the boundary. God knows this about me. It's gotten me in so much trouble. If there's a boundary line, I'm trying to I'm trying to dance that bad boy. It's I how I've always been. I still am. Um, it has taken the Lord a long time and a lot of patience to get me to this point. But two things. In prison, I lost things that should not have come back to me, including my children. Legally lost them. And the Lord brought them back on his own without me going to court to get them back. Um, that's just the huge thing. There was multiple other things. And there was something that broke in me watching the kindness of the Lord when I had done nothing but turn my back on him constantly. And not even necessarily just turning my back, but doing what I wanted, always dancing on that boundary line, always pushing the envelope. And he still was constantly showing me kindness. There's something about what does it say? When your enemy feed your enemy when he's hungry, because it's like
Mhm.
heaping hot coals on his head. Essentially, that's what Jesus has been doing to me, and it broke me, and I surrendered, and I was like, I don't want to keep I don't want to keep making you come and save me and be kind to me while you're doing it. But the second thing is the Lord put my husband in my life. I got married in January. Come on, I cannot speak without speaking and praising God for my husband. Um, got married in January. My husband is a man like I've never been with, a real man. Stands on his own, is not controlled by his wife, isn't going to be controlled by, you know what I'm saying? I'm used to being with very weak men that I can control and run over. And I can't do that with my husband. I'm so thankful. Um, so I don't feel the need to fight everything anymore. I don't feel the need to fight the whole world around me because no one is fighting for me and I need to be heard. And you know what I'm saying? I don't feel that anymore because I'm very secure in my relationship with my husband. I don't need to go and burn the world down around me. I know it sounds crazy, but my husband has
No.
taught me getting married and to a man, a real man, has done so much for me. God knew what I needed.
So how did that work? Because just based upon what you said, this is how I was with men. This is who my
Mm-hmm.
husband is. Tell us about that meeting because you're prepared. There's somebody watching a woman who's run over some men.
Yeah.
And there may be some men watching who are passive and have let women run over them. So give us that.
Mm-hmm. I'm really not sure what to say about it because I'm still in this growing season with this.
How did you meet? How did you know
I
he
met
was the one? And
so,
what's it like finding one another's place?
so I met him. I was a dispatcher at Goodwill, and he was a CDL truck driver. Had been like dispatching with him for a couple of months, and I heard the Lord tell me, "Hey, I want you to start praying for him." And so I did. And probably 2 weeks after that, I struck a conversation, and I was like, "Hey, I got a song. I got a song I want you to hear." And I hijacked his phone number. I didn't ask him for his number. I hijacked it off of our list, and I sent him a song from Ivan B. Anybody wants to know? It's called "Forgive Me for My Honesty." And from there, we started talking, exchanging songs. I saw something in him. He was a loner. Uh, on his breaks, he would go and read like hard paperback books, which you don't see people doing that anymore, just out in public. I don't anyway. Um, the more we spent time together, I'm gonna be honest, guys, our second time talking, he was outside walking with me while I checked on trucks. And I said, "Look, before we go any further, I need you to know that you will never have a shot at having sex with me." And he was like, I was like, "I'm saving myself for Jesus. I'm saving myself for my husband. I don't belong to myself. I belong to Jesus. And I want my husband, whoever he is, to know that I love him now." And Sean, my husband's name's also Sean. Sean was like, "I was just gonna ask you out for coffee or something, but that's fine, you know." And he held to it. I remember about 2 months in asking him, I was like, "Are you sure you can handle this?" And he was like, "Well, we're still going. I guess we'll find out." So we fell in love at the bus stop. We were both taking the Greyhound bus, not the Greyhound, the bus here in Austin. And we would sit at the bus stop for hours talking to each other. And that's where we fell in love. And there, the Lord told me, the Lord said, "He's your missing puzzle piece." And he gave me a vision of a puzzle, just the outline being done and the corner piece missing. And he said, "That's Sean. This is going to be your husband." And when that piece is filled in, he said, "I'll start giving you the vision for what the puzzle looks like." So I asked for multiple confirmations. I got them from the Lord, and we got married in January. And I'm ever so happy. We are still learning about each other. Because we didn't live together, we didn't do anything before being married. Uh, every day I find out more and more that my husband is he's an amazing man. He's a strong man, and I'm able. So being in the lifestyle, girls are going to hear me on this. Actually, guys will see it too. Being in the life, being in the streets, females are taking on more of a masculine role. They are looking more masculine, dressing, talking. We say it's the street in us, it's the thug in us, it's the gangsta. And I'm realizing I think a lot of that comes from trauma. And so females have to put on this masculine, protective, we're independent, we can do it all ourselves. So I'm learning with my husband, my feminine side is coming out. I'm becoming a girl again. As weird as that sounds, I'm I'm dressing more feminine. I've got pink on for crying out loud. Like before my husband, my favorite thing is black. We're blacked out. Um, my softer side is coming out because I feel safe in my environment. I feel safe with my husband. And so that's been really, really fun to experience and to grow in.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so, do you think that any decisions you made this last time while incarcerated directly put you in a good position to have a successful marriage?
Uh, I'm gonna be honest, and I don't know how to say this very well.
Just
I didn't put myself in any positions. I didn't do anything. The only thing I did is I put my mind and my focus completely on Jesus while I was incarcerated. I wasn't thinking about marriage. I wasn't, I was hoping I'd be able to see my children, but definitely not even thinking that I'd be able to get them back. Um, and so in prison, everything's out of your control. You have no control, but you do have control over how deep your relationship goes with Jesus. You have control of that. And so that's what I did. I clung to Jesus. Every day, it was me and Jesus. It was the word. It was, hey, who can I minister to today? Um, it was keeping out of fighting opposition. Let's be real. When you're serving Jesus, there's opposition, and prison's not any different. There's opposition against you. So I'm constantly trying to sidestep opposition, and prison's rough. So I didn't do anything. Everything that has come about, I promise, is because of the work I put into the relationship with Jesus in prison. I haven't done any. I'm not schooled. I'm not educated. I'm a nobody that serves a great somebody. And every blessing I have, where I'm at, I'm working for a law firm, for crying out loud. I've been to prison twice. I have 6 felonies. I'm a legal assistant for a law firm, not because of any great connections I have, but because Jesus lined me up with the right people at the right time. It's just a relationship. People are like, what do you do? Man, get to know your father. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Spend time with him. He's got you from there.
think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you like to share with anyone watching this that you believe could just help them have success, not only where they're at, but where they're going?
Probably. So one of my gifts is encouragement. I have the gift of exhortation. And so I remember when I first found Jesus being so scared of certain things and people telling me, he's got you. He'll do it for you. Don't worry about it. But if you haven't seen that yet, it was very hard for me to trust that God had me. Very, very hard. So I feel odd saying this, but it's absolutely true. I get it now. I don't care what you're facing in prison, outside of prison. I don't care what hardships you have, what impossibility you think there is. I know my father. I know my dad. And what he did for me, he'll do for you. If you put the work into building the relationship. Relationships take work, right? Friendships, marriages, all of it, it takes work. God is no different. You're going to have to put work into that relationship. And what better time than in prison? You don't have anything else but time. Start there. Do it. Build your character. Let him build your character there. Let him help you with that integrity. Let him help you stop talking the way you talk, thinking the way you think. I think prison's a great training ground. It's a great boot camp. God, there's so many different personalities that you can train on, learn how not to talk ugly to people, learn how not to respond that way. Prison's a great if you use it for that. It's a great place to learn.
Awesome. Are you still on parole?
I am. Oh my gosh. I've got almost 7 years of parole left.
Is there anything that you can share with someone to help them be prepared on navigating parole successfully?
Okay, so it's gonna get it real with me. Uh, I well, nobody enjoys parole. Um, Probably me less than anybody. Not because I'm doing anything wrong. I just don't like having. I don't like having people like have their thumb on me because I usually walk pretty good anyway. I walk in integrity on my own. But what I've learned is it's way easier if you're not trying to buck people at every turn. I'm one of those that I like to buck everything at every turn, just the fighter in me. And the Lord has calmed my spirit down. They ask you to do it, do it. I think it's super, super important because most of us are going to get out and have to take 8 weeks of UAs, weekly UAs. I think it's really important where you go. Make sure that you're set up for success. Um, don't go back to old people, places, and things. That's one of the biggest things I can say. Uh, I think the first 2 months out of parole are crucial, really crucial. Make sure that you're setting roots and a foundation somewhere that's positive, that's just going to propel you forward.
Thank you. In closing, would you happen to have a question for me?
Look, yes, did you say you did 25 years? Is that
No,
what you said?
no, no.
Okay.
I did 27 years, 10 months, 16
Oh,
days.
oh my gosh. Okay. Tell me about, I would like to know how, how long have you been out? What a, man, look what you're doing.
Well, I've been out since April 14th, 2020. And just like you said,
Okay.
concerning not waiting until I got out, the thing that God ministered to me, I said, God, I see Christians come back. I see other religions come back. I see non-religious people come back. I say, is there something that I can do to put myself in a good place not to come back? And this is what I believe God told me. He said, work on relationships. And as I began to look at individuals who came back, they weren't very good at having relationships. It wasn't the crime, but it was a lot of them were not into good relationships. And so I didn't look at them other than to say, okay, I can see that. And so I spent my time developing relationships. And so when I was released, a lot of people, especially after serving that much time, they'll ask me, what was the hardest adjustment? I've had adjustments, but they're not the ones that a lot of people would think because I'm used to having relationships. So that means at work, I can have good relationships. At church, I can have good relationships. I'm not dating anyone presently, but I'm just in good relationships with friends. And so having not had a problem with that, the biggest thing that I had to wrap my mind around is that everybody is not necessarily going to take the fact that you want to help them the right way.
Yeah.
And when I said that, I'm like, oh, okay, because I was used to, I'm going to do my best to help whosoever on whatever unit I'm on. So I just came out with that mindset. But there are a lot of people who, whether it be because of past relationships or whether it be whatever, they're not used to somebody just, hey, can I help you? Like I'll go into the county jail and I'll go into a wing. And when I first walk through the door, obviously people are going to look at me because I'm wearing free world clothes. And I'm like, hey, look, just got a quick question. My name is Sean. Anybody want to talk? You need some prayer? I just finished serving a bunch of time in prison, got out. I'm just here to help because I like to get that out the way. I just want to let you know if you want to talk to me, I don't have an agenda. I don't want something from you because I was helped by so many different people who are still incarcerated, by those who are formerly incarcerated and those who have never been incarcerated, that produced in me a zeal to help people as best I can.
I like it. I like it.
Okay.
Wow, you haven't been out that long then.
No.
Okay. I'm blown away at what you're doing already, having not been out for very long. Just the footsteps, the footprints that you're leaving and you're making. That's just blown away.
It's an honor because it's one thing, like a lot of the friends that I had behind the wall, we would always say, man, we really want to do things well. And we didn't want to do things well to be seen. We didn't want to do things well to get something, but we understood innately that when we do things well, that's going to provide opportunities to do better. And it'll not only provide opportunities for us to do better, it'll provide opportunities for others. And so with that same mindset, anytime I'm afforded an opportunity to go somewhere and share or help, and inevitably people just, who are you? What do you, where'd you come from? So on and so forth. And there's, this wide gap of time. Oh, I'm from Illinois. I came to Texas for this, another, and the obvious question will be there. And I just simply share with them through a series of mistakes on my own that led me to incarceration. And during that time of incarceration, I found out who I was, because I had the me that I wanted to be. I had the me that I presented. But when I was afforded that opportunity, and as you said, I seized those times to get to know me, to truly understand what is it that I want to do? What is it that I like? Not just what is the amount of money I need? What are the possessions I need? What kind of woman would fit this picture that I have? And I'm still learning. But having taken that time to get to know me, that's been the best thing that has occurred to me. And the only reason that I can say I got to know me is because I got to know Jesus. And as he showed me the good, the bad,
yeah,
then I'm able to, okay. And I always encourage people, I say, if you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses. If you can call out your strengths, don't be afraid to call out your weaknesses, because if you don't want to deal with them, they're going to deal with you.
Come on. Well said. Hey, you didn't do a parole video, did you?
I didn't do what?
Did you do a parole video? A video for parole?
Yes.
That is you.
Yes.
I was like, he looks so familiar. Okay. Now I'm gonna have to really watch it when I go in there next time.
No, got blessed. And you remember that Priya stuff you remember Priya?
Yeah.
Okay, that video that they made you watch every 90 days or however many days.
Yeah.
I was afforded an opportunity to be on there. Why am I telling you that? Because once again, we can't just do what we want to do. Everybody says, I want to help kids when I get out. I want to help this when I get out. I just believe help whoever God lets cross your path. And when I was in prison, it was my peers with the Priya video. Upon my release, it's been different people who are on parole. Because at the same time that I'm saying, I want to help, I'm willing to help, I continue to receive help. So I really appreciate you taking the time out. I was impressed with your testimony and the things that you shared. And it was a pleasure meeting your husband, because his name is Sean. My name is Sean. I knew I wouldn't forget that. And looking forward to possibly having you back.
All right. Well, thank you, Sean. Y'all have a blessed night. It was appreciate you. Thank you for letting me come on.
Tank Nation Conversations, promoting change through change.
I'm Brian Collier, Executive Director of Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
Blakinger.
Dennis Martinez. I'm a world and U.S. skateboard champion.
Hello, my name is Kevin Kempf, and I'm the Executive Director of the Correctional Leaders Association, and it's an honor.
Gary Moore.
Yeah, my name is Hedemias Cooper.
Hello, I'm Michael Dutra.
And this is Sharon Dutra.
I'm David Gorin. I'm a radio producer for the BBC.
I'm Maria Malgaronis.
My purpose is to look out at each and every man in this room and see that there's hope for everybody in here.
When I came to death row, all I knew was that I came here to die, but little did I know